UIC. Freedom the people of need. Hell yeah. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Freedom the people of want. Freedom the people of need. Yeah, yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road, me say yeah. Real man a road. Now bow wolf in a tree grand a road. Now bow down to no demon a road. UIC when you see man a road. Ready fi broke every chain. That when you're free.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of UIC Liberty TV. This is Joseph Patterson, President of UIC, and today we're going to talk about the politics of poverty, and in particular, Andrew's reverse psychology on the matter. You might have heard him recently talking about the politics of poverty and rightly explaining that some people use the poor for political advantage. They exploit the conditions of poor people in Jamaica to advance their political agenda. Now, the interesting thing is he spoke to that as though it's not something that he and his party have been doing over the years. No doubt pointing fingers at others. But the truth is, poor people have formed the centerpiece of politics in Jamaica. Politicians work very hard to align themselves with the poor, to suggest to us that they're working in the best interest of the poor. Unfortunately, the record of our governance does not support that narrative. The very narrative he's trying to position himself on the other side of paints a very bleak picture of the two traditional colonial parties. They have done everything in their power to take full advantage of the poor. So will we allow this reverse psychology to work? Let's see. But before we go into the discussion, let's take a look at what the Prime Minister had to say on the subject himself. Listen in.
No, as I said, it's a battle for narratives, battle for your mind. And this battle is being fought on a political platform, which I call the politics of poverty. Everybody is trying to use the poor to win a political argument.
And he's 100% correct. Everybody is trying to use the poor to win a political argument. And that everybody includes the Prime Minister himself. Let's continue.
That is a real travesty of all of this. Saying that I am here supporting the poor, I am supporting the poor. But the things that are really necessary to improve the life of the poor gets clouded, deliberately obfuscated.
Again, he's correct that it gets clouded deliberately. And who has been in power to be able to correct that? Two colonial parties have been in power for 78 years to demystify and decloud the situation for us. The real travesty, therefore, is that the Prime Minister, the real travesty, is that the Prime Minister, being in office for some 7 years now, and being in politics, an MP, for over 25 years, and being in a party that has been around for no less than 78 years, that he has not been able to correct the conditions and set us on a clear path that would show that he not only loves the poor, but has done something to address the problem of the poor. In fact, the Jamaican people are getting poorer the longer he stays in office. Let's continue.
Sometimes downright lies to trick the poor people into supporting policies that are inimical their own interests. No.
Wow. Yeah. So here you have it. The Prime Minister says the goal of this politics of poverty is to trick the poor to vote for policies that are opposed to their interest. And that is absolutely true. And nobody knows this better than the Prime Minister, because he has been trained by Mr. Siaga, he has been trained by Mr. Bruce Golden, and he's a student of Jamaica's politics. In fact, that's the only arena in which he has any real life experience. He went straight from university, almost straight, about a year's gap, into politics and has been there ever since. So he knows it very well. He knows how to play the game. And it is a game. Now listen to this other politician, a younger politician, a politician who is an up-and-coming politician, who I said some time ago should have known better than getting involved in politics the way that he did, and in particular, selecting one of the two colonial parties to join. But he chose to do it anyway. I invited him indirectly to join the UIC and to work in a movement that is grassroots, that reflects much of what he's saying as the ideal that we should strive towards. But he chose to go and align himself with one of the two colonial parties. And after getting a taste of their medicine, here's what he had to say. Let's take a listen.
Reality sound and I'm really want to overstand to the fullness now. It's like you have a two-tier party structure the country, and I would know say I'm gonna put it now, the government has not been the best at carrying out the right policies benefiting the people to the ultimate goal. Or you feel like the two-tier party structure really impact the people for the most part, because it's like we've been with these two parties for the most part.
Two parties, but at the same song them are playing. What are you about this?
Yeah, I not really grasp the concept, because I see it, but I not grasp the concept with them.
All right, I'll show you one simple thing. Around about March, when Peter Phillips was the leader of the PNP, said that they wanted to reduce GCT by 2%. They said that because they said their JLP was going to reduce GCT, so they want, and it's PNP policy to reduce GCT. When I did my calculations, I realized at the time that it wasn't the best thing to do to reduce GCT. It better if we really wanted to give back tax, we should do it from a productive side, which is the gas tax, because Jamaica has always faced productive problems. So the consumption challenge with GCT is that the multiplier effect of a consumption tax is not as great as the multiplier effect of a production tax. So if you reduce oil price, gas prices, you reduce transportation, reduce production of food, reduce the cost to the hairdresser, you reduce the cost to the barber, you reduce the cost to the bank, because they pay light bill, everybody pay light bill, you reduce them costs. So once you reduce them costs, you reduce what they want to charge for their product. If not this time, next time. Two-party, brother, agree, because there comes benefit to them. Because people who are whispering at them ears, I say that. You understand what I mean? People who them depend upon, I tell them, say, yo, this we want to make our thing better. And if we can get this done, and we can get a bigger piece of food next time from we. While the average man and the small business who go benefit from a fall in a gas tax can't get them ears to tell them. So the two of them team up and say, we definitely go cut GCT, because the money more import big bulk, go make a big savings, and at them you depend upon. You understand what I say, teacher? So the idea is that the government, I'm trying, I don't know what.
Did you know that the ebook industry is an $18 billion pie, and it's still relatively easy for you to potentially get?
It's a wicked thing.
Yeah, so did you hear what he said? He said that the two parties got together and they listened to who had control of their heirs. And they did what they told them to do, not what they knew would have been in the best interest of the people at the time. And he calls them wicked. Now, this young man is a brilliant economist, somebody who's well known in the economics circle, has lots of potential, and can be a great asset to Jamaica in contributing to our development as a nation. But unfortunately, he sought to go into one of those two parties and thinking that he can work through one of them to implement some of the ideas that he has, good or bad. He thinks they're good. In some cases, they're challenged. But what he discovered very, very quickly is that, and so the thing said, the goal of these two political parties is not to do what is in the best interest of the Jamaican people. The goal of these two parties is to do what is necessary to continue to get funding from the PSOJ oligarchy. That's where they get their money from. And so they work on behalf of the PSOJ oligarchy. And that is why the UIC does not follow the model of the two colonial parties. We're a grassroots movement. But listen some more to what he has to say.
Yeah, man, it's a wicked thing, man. It's a wicked thing.
You brought up this import thing. Why is import tax so high in Jamaica?
Let me start with a motor vehicle. So a motor vehicle import tax about 60%, 70%, sometimes 100%. I am always an advocate for free or sort of free trade. The only time I believe in duties is when you have to protect infant industries. So if you have an infant industry that you think can grow and become competitive comparatively, because you have to have comparative advantage, it makes no sense for you to sell a goods that somebody else can produce cheaper to you. Our duties are high because of policies coming from ill-informed government approach to economic development. So a lot of our tariffs,
Okay, so he's wrong there. The problem is not that the government is ill-informed. It's not like our politicians are making mistakes or being ill-informed. They're very informed. They're being informed by two groups. One group is the PSOJ and the elites that control that groups, the big money interest. And then the other group is the colonial masters, those who give the grants and the loans on the international stage. On the PSOJ side, you also have the banking cartel here in Jamaica. And on the colonial masters side, you have the banking cartel internationally. They're the ones who tell our politicians what to do. And our politicians do as they're told, because if they don't do as they're told, they're no longer going to get the financial support from these two groups. And as such, they sell out the Jamaican people so that they can get this financial support. Now, why do they want this financial support? They want this financial support because when they get funding from the PSOJ oligarchy, they use that funding to win your votes and then use the legitimacy gained from your vote to control your economy and divert the wealth of the nation away from building the nation to building their own personal wealth. And at the same time, pass laws and regulations that work in the interest of the PSOJ oligarchs or in the interest of the colonial masters, or both. So they're not working for you. But let's continue to listen to this young man who's learning the truth.
For import restrictions, because let me explain it to you. If you misinterpret economics, you will tend to believe that the high importation is because of the low cost of what we're importing. You now would then impose a tariff that makes the cost of the good higher, so people will now import less. You following? So even though Jamaica cannot make cars, Jamaica want people to import less cars, so they have a high tariff on cars. You following?
No, I hear what you're saying, but it seems the person that's
Now, the way for you to reduce the importation of cars is not simply to have a high tariff or a high taxation. That will work, by the way. Singapore has used that method quite well, and they had to, because they have a very small amount of land, and having more cars than necessary will clog up the space and make it difficult for them to drive around and move around. So having tariffs to reduce imports on things that are going to destroy your economy and destroy your environment is important. However, watch what Singapore did. Singapore gave their citizens a beautiful public transportation system. They have high-speed rail. They have very good bus service and taxi service that's built on a technology framework that makes it very easy, comfortable, and efficient for Singaporeans to travel throughout their country very, very fast. If we meant our people well in Jamaica, all our government would have had to do over the years, the 78 years that they've had this country, is to make sure we have a solid, good public transit system. And you'll hear me say this over and over. There's no need for them to be unaware of what to do, because so many countries have done it before us and have done it very well. So all they have to do, if they can't think, if they can't reason, just copy. Just take out your exercise book and go to a country who is doing it very well. A little country like Singapore with 6 million people and the size of St. Thomas. Just go there now and look and see how they manage to have such a good transportation system. Make we borrow that. How they manage to cut out corruption so easily. Make we borrow that. How they manage to get so much of their people to be highly educated and productive. Make we borrow that. So all they have to do is to borrow. If them can't think and reason and build anything, just go and copy what other countries are doing. But no, it's not like them fool. They are committed to thieving from the Jamaican people. And so every single year, they fool us up with nice talk and thief our money. But let's continue with the discussion.
thinking about that is a rational thought that they're having.
But which part of leadership and politics rational? None part of you. No part of me. I observe thing. No part of politics, no rational. Because politics always trump economics in terms of decision making. So as an economist, you'd always want economics to win because the Asians have done it. America, as simple as you see America, they make economics winning. As simple as you see Trump in a youth. Trump take back America business them where China did have. Polo and something where you used to sue China and something. Trump bring them back America, come give back jobs to American people, you know. As simple and fool as I hear Trump people talk about Trump, oh, in this, in that, in immigration policy, them some of them don't make no sense, yes. But when you look at industries and how we try to protect them to give back America a share, you understand what I mean? Would have come like Trump is a pan-Americanist.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, but really and truly, still any white supremacist really and truly is a Pan-American.
Pan-American
really.
is true.
You know, understand what I say, Paul? So you can't really have up the people them for defend for them set of people. Because in truth and in fact, I saw the world used to run. You have our set of people, and then you say, all right, black people them there. And this is what they specialize in. And if we want this, we go check them. So we want gold, we want spirituality, we want healing, we want this, we go check them.
Now look at our competitive advantage. We in Jamaica, we have beautiful sunshine, beautiful beaches, wonderful climate, a lot of diversity in our geology and ecology. We're top of class when it comes on to entertainment and having a good time. We have a great potential for tourism here. Now, the Prime Minister and the JLP are now talking about what the UIC has always said is the best way to go. They're now talking about community tourism. But again, they're giving it lip service. If we were to ever implement the UIC policy of making all of Jamaica a tourist destination, that means every community you go to look like a tourist destination, feel like a tourist destination, smells like a tourist destination, the people would have access now, and the tourism dollar would actually remain here because it would be buying Jamaican plantain and yam and banana and breadfruit and oranges and mango. Our stuff would be bought in the indigenous communities right across the country. Jamaican homes, Jamaican Airbnb, Jamaican everything. But right down at the grassroots level, we would bring the tourists down to that, or up to that really. And that would really make tourism more meaningful to Jamaica because the dollars would stay here. So what he's talking about is quite right. If we find our competitive advantage, one of them is tourism. Another one, of course, is organic farming, which is even bigger. If we were to adopt some things from countries like the Netherlands, who have mastered how to properly farm on a mass level and using as little land as possible, going even vertical, we could in no time become the leading producer and seller of organic foods around the world, which would completely change the narrative about our exchange rate, because now we'll be exporting more than we're importing. Our dollar would actually become a positive dollar. We have the same opportunity with water. If we don't continue to destroy our forests and destroy our lands, we will continue to have a large amount of rainfall. Right now, we're allowing the rain to destroy us by not building properly and building water capture properly. So every time we have some rainfall, roads are washed for the people that die and so on. If we had good government, all of that massive volume of water would have been captured, treated, and bottled, and we're shipping water to other countries and making water a major export for Jamaica. But for this, we need good governance. But let's continue to listen.
These are the Chinese people. This is what they specialize in. I notice up to today, the Chinese people still keep anything to a level. They nobody mix up. We mix up through force. You understand what I say? So we get force in a mix up, which is a natural order on the earth, because if you have plants and they exist in the same sphere, breeze will blow up pollen from one type of plant to the next, you go create additional species. You understand what I mean? So species, static. It's like species ever evolving. So black people evolve, white people evolve, everybody evolve. But at the same time, you have to look out for the national sovereignty of your people. So while America look out for them one another, we now look out for them. We now look out for one another. You following? So the whole reset. So Marcus Garvey, he made a valiant attempt. Marcus Garvey made in terms of organizing and centralizing a nation of people. The Black Wall Street made a valiant attempt. But you realize anytime that our people in a collective group, wherever we are, try to create wealth, we get sabotaged. So it look like our wealth don't really come in a material.
I don't want us to subscribe to that victim status that he has just described. We need to understand that it is not the responsibility of other races to make us succeed. It is our responsibility as a race, as a people, to succeed against all the odds. No matter what barrier they put in front of us, we must not focus on the barriers that they put in front of us. We must focus on how effectively we overcome these barriers, how effectively we defend ourselves, how effectively we create solutions that defies any of their tactics or strategy. We must move away from being victims in this world and start being high-level producers. But let's continue to listen.
Look, I love how you bring that to light too, because a question will come right after that now is like, I feel like due to all of them things take place, the whole dismantling of the UNIA when it comes to the organization and centralizing the black people, the Black Wall Street, a whole part of different movement where we see span up in the past. Do you feel like there's a fear some form of fear in I people for really come together collectively and how we really get the average man to understand the importance of economics.
Rude boy, me show you a thing. See? I thought first economics was the way. See? Like the ultimate way, the absolute way. Which it is because everything exists within the economy. But studying it and practicing it alone was never enough. So I decided to join politics because I realized that many times I had policies I needed to implement. It had to go through the politician in order for it to be implemented. And because I wasn't their biggest financier, my views, though applauded for its novelty, has never been the views to be implemented because my views has never been the views of the funder or the views that brings resources to the funder. There are views that kind of want to decentralize wealth, so to speak.
You see why we have to make sure that at the end of the day we control our own political party, because if we don't control our party, then we cannot we cannot implement the policies and programs we need to implement to pull Jamaica out of the status of being a third world country, while some of us, particularly those who lead the country, are living in opulence. So let's learn from what this young man is saying. He has found out the hard way. And I'm actually surprised, I thought that he was a bit brighter than this, to be honest with you. I never expected him to have studied the economy of Jamaica and then still make the mistake of joining one of the two parties. Now you understand why I never did, why I've never voted for any of them, and I've never joined any of them, because I recognized very early, from 16, 17, even before that. But when I got close to the age now to vote, I had to stand firm and said to my mother, I cannot go and vote for your party because of this reason. And I explained to her why I can't vote for the other one either, because I realized that they were an instrument, they were tools being used to divide us and distract us so that a few can extract the wealth from the rest of us. But let's continue to listen to the discussion.
Are going to lead higher income for certain set of people who, for example, they want to maintain in a particular level them not really put. So me join politics. Brother, when I go in, I think I be a sabotage my face by enough people will come and say them will help me out. Cause me know me fool. So me caught up in this, so we go try save Jamaica thing, and we have to come together, youth, and sister, we in a great crisis and we need to start here, and this is how we need to do, and lay out one heap of blueprint of planning, brother. I saw me a plan, I say people them tear up my plan them dash away. Have their own agenda. You understand what I say? So people come around and they want to manage a campaign, them a break on a campaign to make them look good, to make you look bad, to say yo. See if you understand what I say, yo. So you try put a thing to
Same thing they try to do in the UIC, as I'm trying to build the movement, they came in and tried to tear it down and try to make all kind of mischief, to suggest all kind of things. Even like the well-established political parties, the ones that the Jamaican people have come to know and love and now hate, he has experienced the same thing. He went in on the inside and found out that
I know. See, you know, and try to make yourself look more important than I want, because you know, so everybody valuable. See, you're on a team, though you are the captain, though you are coach, you're no more valuable than the forward. You're worse than a valuable than the keeper. Take him out and see. You can't take him out. So you know, as the more mature one, everyone in a placement position for function. But them I look on becoming the captain. So them now going back to the manager of the team. Yo, you know, saying should I make this a decision? He may make that the decision. He name should I do this? You know, say him have anger problem. You know, saying this. You know, saying that. Rare, you know, say she this. You know, say she that. You know, so the time we have to spend and come together and do the thing on a collective level. Yeah, if you look out the corner, yeah, I wonder, say, yo, I wonder what is somebody who kind of lie, this is somebody I go over tell upon you. I wonder what kind of, so it hard now, the energy, can I say, focus and concentration, you know, and what bring things to life, you know. So the people have not give no chance to focus and concentrate, you. So you have to take your focus off of where you do, if you try focus on people issues. Yeah, so if you get the point of me, I try to make
Yeah,
answer the
reality
question.
sound. Reality sound, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, say, man. Reality.
You see
Reality.
me, so say hard, brother. I go through it, man. I lock up in my place so long now, man. Can I traumatize? I go through with the people, them.
You hear that? They traumatize them in the PNP. They traumatize them. They put him through a strainer. They try to eliminate his thinking capacity so that he can just follow the narrative and fit in and do what they want him to do. But I hope him learn. But I don't think him learn enough because I realize he has now gone back in to be a senator again. And it's very hard, you know, for our young people to learn and realize that, you know, not everything that glitters is gold. So not because you see the PNP and GLP have the money and they can give you appointments and stuff, you have to harden your heart. You have to say, no, I am not going to be a part of this because I know it's a trick. And come and stand with the UIC, fight with the UIC, battle with us, and help us to overcome the system. You cannot go into any of those two parties and overcome the system. They will overcome you. But if we come together and work together, we can overcome the system.
I go through with them. They don't want no change. Everybody want to become the prime minister. Everyone become the MP. All when they don't have a sense, they don't have no articulation. Them can't stand up and present a point to you.
Yeah, them have to read off our things same way. Them can't come with the intelligence when normal. Because when me really feel like, you know, if a matter of when you talk about economics or you talk about any other matter we're supposed to valuable to the people, majority are ones in the forefront, you know, is a public relations type of thing for them, you know. It not have nothing to do with morality, nor alignment, nor development, nor improvement at all, you know. It's all about public relations. So I wonder now the importance of Edward Bernays and them man come like it had the sole importance of most people in the spotlight. Propaganda alone.
Manufacturing consent fire.
And that has been it. So the government has been leading through control of point of views and perspective. So what they have done is that the media is really, it's the same thing that is in America. Like the media defend who they want to defend and try.
You see it now. Exactly what I've been telling you. Now, this is an insider speaking, you know, somebody who has gone in as a real person who truly wants to help his nation, who really wants to help Jamaica. He went in and they've dealt with him. And he's now telling you what I've been telling you for some time, that the media is there to help to advance the cause of the PSOJ oligarchy and the colonial masters. The media is not there to ensure that you are properly educated and informed about what's happening in your country and to provide true analytical, investigative journalism. No. The media is there as a help to carry forward the propagandas of the state, to carry forward the propaganda of those who control the state, to carry forward the propaganda of the colonial masters and the PSOJ oligarchy, to fool the Jamaican people into continuing to vote for these two parties, not recognizing that a vote for either one of them is a vote for the PSOJ oligarchy and the colonial masters, and therefore a vote against their interests as Jamaicans.
To ill-informed expose who they feel like exposed. So it's like a payment structure. So if I were supposed to pay the media now to defend my character, then I would come out crisp and clean to you, and then I'd have a brighter future. But if I can't pay the media and somebody's paying the media to tear me down, then the least a thing will happen. Then I'm going to come out to look crush up and look negative. I made so many brilliant speeches in the Senate. I mean, I'm praise myself. See? Me
So
not
praise that
praise
is for my recommendation, man. You can do it yourself, man.
the points and how I put points together, yo. And the time when I spend in trying to simplify things, bring them out in a story and illustrate some parables and some way of it do it. Even them saying, if I said, at first they see certain things, because they don't expect you themselves, you know, first they see some. See if I get a message. Why man them say? The thing them my man them highlight. Oh, you say love breast. Oh, you say them enough for cuss no bad word. Then say them for. And then say again. Me say them for stop. Police for stop trouble people in a dance hall for bad word. Oh, being like
Disregard everything else and focus on foolishness.
So they do the same thing with the UIC. They never tell the Jamaican people about our policies, good policies, and what we're trying to do and what our objectives are. They tell the people they try to twist anything. So they try to twist something about gay rights. They try to twist something about prostitution. They try to twist something about capitalists. They don't want to make sure that people fully understand or hear what the UIC is all about. And whether you are outside of their party or inside of their party, if you are going to try to truly help the poor, like Andrew was talking about, if you truly want to help the poor, if you want to make life better for Jamaicans, neither the PNP nor the GLP is there to help you to do that. So joining them is futile. Not joining them means you're going to be given a fight, which the UIC has been given. But I would rather go up against the powers that be and get quite a fight than to sell my soul and join into something I know is not going to work on behalf of the Jamaican people.
So this way, yeah.
And it was at that point I knew that I was up against a great difficulty.
So, all right, fine. After that experience now, right? You've been in the belly of the beast. I'm not sure if you had full time to reflect and re-strategize, but what's your views now moving forward in regards to what's the strategy for change? Is change even possible? Or does it have to be just a dismantling of a society and rebuilding? The consciousness will bring about a better social situation. So it's not just a social situation. I think the consciousness has to change.
Is that for Jamaica, or is that for as they make for black people, or is that just the world?
The world fire. Well, we dealing with black people, but we need a change, because it's the same mindset that's keeping the system the way that it is. You get what I'm saying? It's that same individualism, that same selfishness, that same disrespect.
Are less likely to be petty thieves. People are more likely to be looking to steal something.
That same disregard for your brother and sister, because you can live good and your brother can live good too. But people on the vibe where they just want to live some TV life and they want everyone else to suffer at any cost. And that's the source of the policies.
I'm in England, and the yard that I was living in had no fences. It had no burglar bars. That doesn't mean that robberies don't take place in England. Robberies take place, but it's of value. So people are less likely to be petty thieves. People are more likely to be looking to steal something of value. I'm in Jamaica. You have to have this big tall fence. If you can afford it, you have to have burglar bars. So the mindset is different. It's like, what do people really need? People need security, people need food, people need clothing, people need shelter. These are the things that people need. But how exactly do you provide this security? Because the people in England feel more secure than the people in Jamaica who feel less secure. The following, so the country-specific idiosyncrasies now, the country-specific characteristics now, plays a role in how we broad brush change. So In America, average income is about $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year. And there are many people of our look. I don't know what to call it. Americans, I don't know. I don't know.
African people,
Black
man.
people, I don't know what to call it. I know America, you have a politically correct. Yeah, many of our people, see, live America and them have billions, them have millions, but they still not comfortable there. See, if you get me, I say, my king, they're not comfortable. It's like, how do you make a one comfortable in their mind? It's like you have to separate therefore you from your body. You see me? Because when you're talking in your head, you that are talking. When you talk with your mouth, it's like your body that attacks. So it's like you are use your body to do a function. And then you're alone. It's like everything what people do is like our other people perception of them. You see me? So I go buy a dear car, I buy a Beamer because me want it to drive because people say it's a more comfortable car than a Toyota. So it's a perception. You get what I say? So the whole world itself boil up to a perception. My perception of who I am, my perception of what people want out of me, my perception of the world itself and what is of value. So change now. All of the change, what we need have to come from enlightenment within. But people are looking for enlightenment.
Yeah, that enlightenment, is what the UIC is all about. Our goal is to make sure that we are enlightening the Jamaican people. And Andre Hart needs to know that the way for him to enlighten the Jamaican people is not by aligning himself with forces that have consistently sought to keep the Jamaican people ignorant. So I want all of you to encourage Andre Orton to walk away from, I think he has gone back to the PNP, but he need to leave the PNP. All the young people right now who are in the PNP and the JLP, they need to understand what's going on and they need to walk away from that and help the UIC, help us to enlighten the Jamaican people about what these two parties stand for, what they have done, and what we now need to do to correct Jamaica and create a place where they and their families and their children and future generations can actually have a decent Jamaica to live in. We can't continue to work with these two parties and expect real change anytime soon.
Through religion, and them now look for enlightenment through understanding of self.
The whole perception thing, imagery, and the love of oneself is where we bring in the concept of poverty.
It's going to be very important, and them understanding money. Teaching people about themselves, I don't know, the role of church, them done gone to die from a holistic point of view. Remember I said, I don't talk Rasta, 1 and 2 we are.
Yeah.
So you understand some people have sense and enlightenment. Even within Rasta, even within some man we say they enlightened, they still have vanity.
Fire, we burned one fire on that recently. So
yeah, a reason.
So as I elder, your role.
So they've done a bit of a discussion here on religion and perception and enlightenment. But I want to make it very clear that the foundational thing we need to do is to become aware. I love history. I study history a lot because I want to understand the past. And those who can see furthest into the past are best able to see into the future. And the future of Jamaica right now is dismal. If we are to have another 5 years under these two political parties, the chances of recovery for Jamaica is greatly diminished. If we have to undergo another 10 years, it's almost impossible. If we have to undergo another 15 years, it's totally impossible for Jamaica to recover. Because when you're finished, the Chinese will own most, if not all, of our major businesses. Our land would have been tremendously raped in terms of poisoning our water, poisoning our atmosphere. and destroying our farming potential. Our water would have been destroyed. Our land space in terms of what attracts the waterfall here would have been diminished tremendously. At the rate at which we're graduating dunce into our society, and at the rate at which the brightest among us are getting absorbed into other countries, we're going to have a country where the majority are fully dunce and incapable of holding a regular job or building a legitimate business. And so we're going to become tenants in our own country. We're going to be living on the margins in our own country. We really can hardly afford another day, much more another year, much more 5 more years of these two parties and the system that they have been keeping in place for so long. So I'm literally worried to death that we as a people are not waking up fast enough and acting fast enough to arrest this situation.
I have to guide the youth. Your role, and if you walk around and criticize youth without making no contribution to what you think youth have to offer. Let me tell you something, Elder. One of my class, them 540 people. One of my class, them have 540 people. The next class have 160 people. In total, that are 700 people. And that every year for the last 15 years. Go find some selfish, but you go still find some who go pass on what them learn to other people. Yeah, man. Joke thing.
Oh, I want to jump back to this black box thing, right? I just want to clear up the concept. So it seems that on funds that have not been collected just automatically go to the highest artists in that particular group or country.
Yeah, after a certain time though, them have time period with them deal.
I'm gonna jump this section here.
Performing right
Level high.
Yeah, man, straight through. It contribute to the whole thing fire and it leave the people them at the bottom now who really create the most. Because if you check it, Jamaica per capita, Jamaica create the most music. And Jamaica that's still, because the mindset of the people them is where we know we get so consumed by so much different things that we now really see the real importance of where them things are really come to know. Like our people more concerned about, all right, who can be the artist and who can be the latest now. In a spotlight, me can be the man, you can be the woman, and nobody now really pay attention to the facts that.
Now, you said earlier in regards to entertainment, right? Entertainment is the number one, or I guess the biggest industry in Jamaica. So why doesn't the Jamaican government nurture and give strength to the entertainment industry if that's the number one thing that brings people in and gives you exposure? It almost seems like it's neglected.
Well, the truth is, entertainment is not our major industry, even though we have a competitive advantage there that we have not yet exploited. And it's not so much that the government hasn't done what it's supposed to do. It's that the government gets in the way of the people being able to fully utilize their skills and ability and export their talents effectively. But that's another day for another discussion on that.
When I go Friday morning, pray.
Never do you have to go pray when you go to the Senate, yeah?
Yeah, so different people get the prayer every week for read differently. And when now
listen to this one. He's talking now about the prayer that they have to do every morning when they go in to do the work of the upper house, the Senate. Now listen carefully. This is the prayer that they have to say. So this is forced upon them by the system with an intention and a purpose. Listen carefully to what that prayer does.
I come on, I'm not to listen to it 100%. I just did it because I focus on my presentation. So then I pray. I don't read off on paper for my presentation. So I always have to run through my thing in my head. See if you understand that, I concentrate on. I don't concentrate on the fluff. When I see what I have to read, I say, yo, I don't read this, you know. You see me? I remind myself, no apartheid and.
We're seeing common people around the world doing the uncommon.
Sorry, I'm done in here already. I don't have to go read it, because when we really think, you see me? We must humble beseech thee, gather here before you, in your name, Ray.
This is in the name of the Queen. So they're praying in the name of the Queen, okay?
And make sure so we uphold all your things, them woman. No boy violate a judgment. Any one of them boy violate a judgment, boy.
Hey, I tell you, I just see the colonialism, the
psyche
mindset.
right there, fire, because that really
Yeah.
showed the psyche, and that's disturbing. I didn't know that aspect of it, that you had to kind of give that reference there on a weekly basis to certain things.
Nah, for uphold, the member said a queen lose a bet them, you know, because you can't talk it certain way through certain thing, you know, so me can't talk, you know, as a fireman, you know, so them, got you.
Yeah, so I try to show you so now the purpose of government on a grand scale. Because it get water down, you know. So I know the queen 100% again, you know. And some other man with them look at as the queen, which don't include a dirty foot artist we go make a money and can try enough up himself against them. You understand what I say? So them now look on you, even me then look on a way a certain way when I articulate myself a certain way, you know, you. Then look on me a way, you know, and bar me from gather resources. Me have to different from them and make sure that my resources come from a different place where them can't tamper with it. Because them understand say if the lower class of people get a broader income, whereas entertainer, first thing I make you know say them can't track entertainer money, tax and so them if pay, they don't know they make it, so they not get it back. So if you invest so much money in making people become rich through entertainment, the country now go benefit. Or them more benefit if these entertainers now don't really can size up against them. You understand what I mean? And so you have to know how selfish people think you. And like me and you, who we want less people depend on we. So more people have a better feel, we want more peace. Because more while we don't want to take up the phone every minute, we have to attend to somebody differently. We just want to easy sometime. So a man don't have film income stream, so more while he not have to pay. You get what I say? But no. That's not how the rest of the world and leadership looks at it. Leadership looks at it in such a way that they're saying, okay, these guys are making lots of money from the music, they're buying lots of guns, and they're going to turn the place into havoc. So we have to put a gauge on that. It's not as if these people are making the money and they're becoming big businessmen and they're spreading the money amongst the less fortunate in an uplifting way. It's always about maintaining the violent status quo, or really to maintain the disequilibrium or the lack of harmony that we need to move forward.
Let me break that down for you very quickly. The goal of the government that these two parties operate is to maintain the status quo that you see in Jamaica today. It is to maintain a small group of people having the vast amount of the wealth of the nation, whether they're local or international. It's to maintain a large number of Jamaicans who are living on the margins economically. And it is to maintain a system of crime and violence and strife among us so that we never get the chance to settle down and pay attention and organize ourselves and take control of our country and our lives. And that's what he's pointing out to you here in a bit of a circuitous manner. But we have to act very fast to change that, because we cannot allow them to win this game any longer.
It has always been this way for us. So the leaders, therefore, Damon Crawford, I think, tried with the entertainment zones, have been pushing, but realistically, Jamaica has not figured out, on a global point of view, how to fully ensure that the bulk of our talent monetize what they have to offer. And I think that is where the problem lies. If we can do this, because the government, that black box of which you speak, the government, if they were interested, and I'm sure because Jamaica's GDP is about 15 billion US. Our budget is about
9 billion.
800 billion. Boiled down. Our budget is about 9 billion US. So I don't know money. You understand? Our budget is not really no money if you say, yo, Jamaica have this big budget. My lord, the illegal ganja industry in Jamaica is valued at 11.1 billion US when I did my calculation, which is 75% of Jamaica GDP. So if Jamaica...
In other words, if we were to do what the UIC is prescribing and make ganja fully legal in Jamaica and allow the people to access it and be able to produce it and export it without government being an impediment, you're talking about almost doubling our GDP.
For example, we're supposed to make weed legal. Jamaica GDP would almost double in 1 year. If it can be calculated. So may I try to show you so with GDP are chumps. I don't know money.
Sorry, one more thing with the music. The whole block they put on the dancehall culture and the vendors. This is the part I don't understand. Already denies them to make a living.
You want to blame it on ignorance? Let's relegate it to a lack of understanding of how to get it done. So if you as a person lack understanding of how to get it done, it means therefore that you have to find the people, the resources. For example, you want to go somewhere you can't drive a car, you must get a driver for the car. Following? So it's this search and match process that there's no emphasis, no focus on this search.
He's still making a vital mistake. He's still assuming that they're trying to fix the problem. They're not trying to fix the problem. They're comfortable. If they wanted to fix the problem, they would have easily adopted the UIC model of governance, whereby only subject matter experts would serve as ministers of government. You would have a process whereby they're nominated by the executive branch. You have an elected Senate to vet them. Then you would have the legislative body, the MPs, who will vote to approve them. That would be a perfect separation of powers and make sure we have credentialed persons, experienced persons, knowledgeable persons, experts, sitting in the seat of each of our ministerial portfolios that we need to develop. Similar to how Singapore does it. In Singapore, you cannot be involved in politics, actually, if you're not properly trained and educated. And you cannot be a minister of government if you don't have the competencies to serve in that ministry. So he's still of the idea that these guys are making a mistake, they don't know what to do. No, it's not like they don't know what to do. They don't care to know what to do. They're happy with the system as it is, as long as they continue to win, hold power, get to tax us, and get to borrow in our name, and then spend it, steal some of it to make themselves richer, and then diffuse the cost across the rest of us and keep the system going on and on and on.
Search and match. And this has basically put us in the position that we are.
This is the torch you use if you want to become barefoot. This is nobody.
This has put us in a position that we are. It's a sad state, reality. But it's the reality. And I specifically entered politics because I realized this deficiency of which we speak. And because of this deficiency, I'm also at a disadvantage because they identify that I entered politics to address that deficiency. So it was like me against two parties.
And yet he still decided to not only join, experience the problem, left sort of, it appears, and got upset and went into his room and was traumatized. And today he's back as a senator for the PNP again. Why? Why? Because he recognizes that if he's ever going to get anywhere financially in this country, he needs to align himself with one of those two political parties if he wants to be more than an average Jamaican who will not be able to do extremely well financially for himself. That's what we need to realize. I'm hoping somehow the light bulb will go off in his head that he should not sacrifice his intelligence, sacrifice his moral compass, sacrifice his ability to think outside of the box of just the narrow financial benefits and do the right thing and leave that party, continue to tell us the truth about it, and help to lift up the nation with the knowledge we need to fully turn our backs on these two parties, on the system that they have put in place and maintained for their colonial masters, and recognize the role that the PSOJ oligarchy is playing in tricking us by giving us two fake options, which will always land us in the same place.
It sounds like they deal with you real wicked when you was on this political run. When you was on this political run.
Bro, you don't have no allies who think like you. You understand, sir? That is why I realized when I was campaigning, your lady said, oh, the first MP, me see, with so much Rasta walk up and down with. Not even manly. No Rasta. You understand what I mean? When I realize I'm a look for my solid core, I'm realize that most of my real friends, I say they're not involved, they're not like politics, they just do it through me. I realize that the people who know me join up within our politics, not do it through me or for the collective. They might do it for the benefit of themselves. So the people them who want it to be done are on the outside, while the people who don't want it to be done are on the inside.
And yet still he has gone back on the inside. We, the UIC, and all of you who support the UIC, we are on the outside and we want the right things to be done. And he's right. Those on the inside want to keep the system the way it is. Yes, there are some who come like himself and tell us that they want a change, but they remain on the inside in the faint hope that they can bring about a change from the inside. Listen, those two parties have over 80 years of experience. Their DNA is set. You, nor me, or no one else is going to go into those giants, into those dinosaurs, and change their DNA. That will be a very long wait. Our best hope is to act now, to stop them now from doing this to us. Unfortunately, my time is up because I have to go now to our members meeting. We're having our members meeting shortly on Zoom. So all of our members will have received an email inviting them to not just members and supporters. If you are on the website, if you've gone to our website and signed up, you would have gotten an email. The link should have been sent to you shortly. And the meeting actually starts now at 5 o'clock Jamaica time. It's now 2 minutes past 5. So I have to leave you now. Until next time, thanks again. And don't let Andrew fool you with reverse psychology. The politics of poverty is the politics of the PNP and the JLP and their master, the PSOJ oligarchy that funds them and controls them, as well as the colonial masters who also funds them and control them. So my friends, don't make Andrew fool you again. Don't let Mark fool you. Don't let any political party or politicians fool you. Be aware, be knowledgeable, and stay in touch with your mental faculties. Until next time, one love, one UIC, and one